Welcome to the second noontime readings for Poemtown. We're very happy to have you here, and some of you are going to be reading today, and this will be recorded, and you should have access to it on YouTube afterwards. I want to say that this is the second Poemtown season for St. Johnsbury. I want to thank Alicia Hingston and Ann Campbell for bringing the Poem City concept to St. Johnsbury. For those of you who don't know, there were many poems submitted. They are posted in storefronts in various organizations. There are lists of the poets, the name of their poem, and where they're posted downstairs in the main room of the Athenaeum. So I encourage you to grab one of those and on a very nice day, take a walk and look at people's poetry. Be a fun way to spend the day. I also thank Sharon and Bill Biddle, Beth Canal, Katie Moritz, and others who worked on this committee to make this possible. I will also let you know that the other activities, there will be 2 more noontime readings with refreshments on the next 2 Wednesdays starting at 12. There will be a poetry slam at the tap room with Jeff Hewitt, and that will be April 21st. It's a Thursday at 7 o'clock. Hold on, that's not going to happen that way. It'll be the Thursday, April 21st at the tap room at 7. There will also be a reading here with Peter Money and Partridge Boswell. That will be the 28th. It's a Wednesday evening, and it'll be music and poetry, and it's a great program. I encourage you all to come. For upcoming events for the Athenaeum this week, not only is this National Poetry Month, it's also National Library Week. So for the week, for the first hour and until supplies last, we're offering coffee and donuts for our patrons. We're also offering a free card for non-residents during this week to encourage people from outside of St. Johnsbury to come and be part of our community. Tonight, this evening, we will, Arts and Culture. The title is called Say What? Stories Out Loud. People can prepare a 10-minute story and tell it live without notes. We will pick 5 names from a hat, and Bob will be one of the people telling his story, so that should be really fun. That's this evening at 7 p.m. Upstairs. Okay, so without further ado, I have chosen to read Ursula Le Guin for my poet. And I have chosen her. She's mainly known as a fantasy fiction writer. She's won several awards for that category. But she's written 4 books of poetry. And I really love her work. Before I begin, I wanted to read a little bit about her comments in the afterword. She has some thoughts about form, free verse, free form, that I thought I'd share with you. A poem that rhymes has a regular meter or follows a particular pattern is said to be in form. If it has no regular pattern, it's free verse. Some poets get entrenched behind form, some behind free verse, and these days, many caper about in a minefield between the 2 extremes. I'm one of the caperers. I'm at home in no man's land. In this matter, I have no theories, no lasting preferences, not even many opinions. so long as a poem works. It makes no qualitative difference to me what its form is, or if it has no discernible, describable shape but its own. As a kid, writing poetry, I wrote in rhyme and meter because the poetry I heard and read was in rhyme and meter. Also, I think because most kids respond naturally, physically, to a drum beat, the sound play of language, the kinetic dance of regular change and repetition. As I got a little older, I began to read poetry without regular meter and with only hidden rhymes or subtle echoes, and began writing that way too. I felt the ease and independence of not having to think about how many beats per line, what rhymes with a word at the end of the line, the freedom of free verse. But then sometimes a poem, as I wrote it, would begin to seek a pattern of its own, and I would follow it. For the last 10 years or so, I've met regularly with a small group of poets who write, if they feel like it, to assignments that we give one another. Some of these assignments have to do with form, others with content. Challenged to write in some complex classic patterns I'd never tried before, I became aware of certain aspects or effects of writing in form that I hadn't thought about before. My most revealing discovery was that form can give me a poem. So I thought that was interesting. This particular book, Late in the Day, Poems 2010-2014, was published in 2015. And it is a collection of different types and forms, or non-forms, of poetry. So I'm going to share a few of those with you. Maybe you can guess what the form is. The small Indian pestle at the Applegate house. Dense, heavy, fine grain, dark basalt, worn river smooth all round. A cylinder with blunt round ends, a tool. You know it when you feel the subtle central turn or curve that shapes it to the hand, was shaped by hands, year after year after year, by women's hands that held it here, just where it must be held, to the fall of its own weight into the shallow bowl, and crush the seeds and rise and fall again, setting the rhythm of the soft, dull song that worked itself at length into the stone. So when I picked it up, it told me how to hold it and heft it, put my fingers where those fingers were that softly wore it down to this fine shape that fits and fills my hand, this weight that wants to fall and falling sing. Iambic pentameter, loosely I think. The first part of her book talks a lot about our connection with everyday things beautifully, and how we're all sort of one in our existence of natural elements. The next one is called Earthenware. Old clay pot, stained brown, cooked a lot, used to be full of beans in the oven, over and over, washed clean, time and again, baked clay. Someday, had to crack, bones, words, part shards, all go back. Free verse. Constellating. Mind draws the lines between the stars that let the eagle and the swan fly vast and bright and far above the dark before the dawn. Between two solitary minds, as far as Deneb and Altair, love flings the imaginable line that marries fire to fire. An iambic quatrain. This one's called The Dreamstone. seeking the knowledge I only know I lost, to take the intangible into my hand, to pay the price of what is past all cost. It is a gray stone lying on my palm. Its even substance deepens to a mist, and it moves a fire contained and calm. As in a cloudy opal or a hummingbird's rose turquoise breast, these soft-colored flames speak in their motion without sound or words to tell me what it was I knew and lost. By this remembrance blessed, I understand that I am free and have come home at last, to wake to find that I have paid the cost. I wake to look into my empty hand. A Petrarchan sonnet, which is an octave with a subset followed by a subset, and sometimes called Italian sonnet. This one was meant for the gallery, which unfortunately we were not able to use today. The domes of the Yosemites, the center of attention today itself. This one's called California Landscape Paintings at the Portland Art Museum. Ursula lives in Oregon. This big one is called Mountain Silence, but it's the one beyond it, the Sierra Divide, that holds silence, the way a gray stone bowl holds water. Looking into the painting, I think how it is itself silent, how we move in silence among these painted skies and mountains. How the charity of a painting, its gift I will carry out of the museum, may be its silence, full and quiet as a bowl of water that I can hold later in my soul's hands and look into and see how light falls on granite. And then I will do one more. The Pursuit, a moral ballad. It laughed and sang, it leaped and ran, the gleeful, happy beast, and swift it raced from east to west, and back from west to east, and close behind in hot pursuit, fearless of feint or fall, Sir Thomas rode to catch the keep, that gladsome animal. But ever the beast ran on and laughed and giggled and cavorted, until Sir Thomas, steed forspent, hung down its head and snorted. Then cried Sir Thomas, "Gallop on oats tonight you'll feast, my brave content, when I have caught that fleeing happy beast." He spurred his horse and whipped it sore to gallop bravely after the cheerful prey that fled away in gales of merry laughter. The horse ran hard, it burst its heart, it fell and could not rise. And as it lay, it turned to look in its master's eyes. "Oh, faithless one," Sir Thomas cried, "you have betrayed and shamed me." Then as it died, the horse replied, "Remember what you named me." Over the horse's grave he raised a marble monument, and on it carved a single word, the horse's name, Content. Yet Sir Thomas's ghost must run from east to west on foot, and west to east behind the beast that laughs in his pursuit. Thank you. Are you reading today, Anne?
Did you mention the conversation tomorrow night?
No. Would you do that for me? I brought a poster, but it wasn't the right one.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
So tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at Cafe at Gatonero Press, there will be a poetry conversation. Bring a poem. We'll go around in a circle. You can read or you can just sit and listen. And it's always a nice time, coffee, tea.
Great, thank you. It's a different format than here, and it's more intimate in some ways because you can share. So I think there's 4 of you, Joe, okay, that would like to read. So I think I'm going to go in this order: Alice, Jim, Jeannie, and Joe. And if you would introduce yourselves, I would appreciate it. And I would say about 10 minutes or a few poems, whatever you feel comfortable. Afterwards, we'll have a little bit of refreshment, and I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you.
Alice?
I'm Alice Burnham. I'll be 90 this summer.
Wow.
I'm running out of ideas. This is called My Beauty. Oh, yes. Now you can hear.
Yes, I can.
My beauty. When the winter days get warmer and the white snow turns to gray, it reveals man's bad habit of throwing things away. There are soda bottles and beer cans, plastic cartons and lunch wraps, empty dry gas cans, oil jugs, lost gloves and knitted caps. Man's madness and callousness puts on a sad array. It steals from nature's beauty and is often there to stay. There was beauty all around us before man was put on earth. God gave us the Garden of Eden and a chance to prove our worth. Do I read two? Can I read two? I have the short one, A Walk in the Woods. To take a walk in the woods is a pleasant thing to do. Did you know that peace and quiet will walk along with you? A chattering squirrel may be heard, or the occasional chirp of a bird. After a light snowfall, you'll find tracks in the snow of every kind. Rabbit tracks, squirrel tracks, and deer tracks too. But just as casual, thoughtful walk is a pleasant thing to do.
My name is Jim Barrett. I've been in the woods for a couple months, so my reading skills may be a little primitive. I don't think my poems are as light as, or as joyous as my predecessor who just read. So this one's called Night. It was it's in a boutique somewhere on Main Street as well, I guess in the bookstore. Is that right, Steve? I don't know. Anyway.
I think it appeared twice.
Twice, okay, so it's been replicated. So this one's called Night. I wandered and listened where the light went real, searched in a form that met the night. Branches. Orion fumbles on the horizon, keels over. I think of shadows. Sling my camera, sit in dirt. Silver casts itself across a maple, waiting 1,000 years to splash and do something. New England foreground, some further development. Listen to what I could be. Shapes pass overhead. A barn owl, a new time. The sky stays. Odd traces of red. Blinks. Says it's 2 a.m. It's time to be heard. I rest by this knoll. It's hard darkness. No wild things come by to confess their discontent. Look for what might be. Sounds but aren't. October incognito. Sees me through. Jet-like and in the moment. There won't be much of this place in 10 years, left to anyone, let alone the silences, or you. A nighttime gone dormant, an autumn that has passed. Yeah, the next one is called So Many Trees. So many trees that I see no horizon, this new mountain, the second autumn. Such solitude is surpassed only by these crossing winds, recalling steep ravines, blue jay palaces. My thoughts attuned to this new pitch, a flatness almost cast into altitude, some penchant for oblivion. I scurry forward, shot in the race, hatching of evening. Globules of light, with every breath. I search for something, my chest bare and grub-faced, another birch, another height, fathomless, without form or cluster, without star. This next one's called Collector. Collector of ravens at night, your plots full, your house, that guiding beam, dead now, all gone, like a gray cube set against the stony forest. Hunger for him, the one-time word figure, now the traveler lands, stranger of the light, of all things unseen. The stream turns itself out to what was you, your cornered flight, lover of May, stranger of voices. This one's called A Loamy Gush. A loamy gush of canyons, sacrificed as we jumped, encircled by gods, both invisible and hungry, images of our youth carried to the sky, landing safe as babies in those warm cliff waters, sandstone all around, a motorboat, some cigarettes. We knew nothing of mortality, starving above the earth like it was late August. No school for another 3 weeks. We'd saved the gorp for our next trip, as well as the wind, the sand, and the stars, staring up into silence, floating above it all. What else have I got here? This one's called From Times. It's called From Times. From times lost you were imagined, perfect as a cube, masked against forest, along the edge of the folds at that road. There was skylight, a stone wall, refined and crumbling. Throw out the nymphs, throw out the voices. No closer to you, strewn with gray, thrown on a stream. I won't wake up, I won't return. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeannie Morris. I live in Charleston. I'm up from Cambridge, Mass. And I've been writing since the 60s, but I'm just going to read new stuff today. If you want the old stuff, you have to come back next Wednesday. Okay, this first one is called Learn. You could learn to yearn, you could learn to shape, you could learn to see, you could learn to lean, you could learn to encircle, you could learn its color, you could learn its grief, you could learn its word, you could learn to carry its waywardness to a doorstep. I could learn to open its conclusion. I don't know if any of you have read the book, All the Light We Cannot See. You have? Oh, okay, then you'll know what I mean. So, bullets have no shape, nor do the boys who employ them. The sea can be caressed and known, surrounded by seashells, fishes. Books filled with bird portraits can be seen by language. Walking stick counts the avenues, the drain spouts, and can see a bakery, private homes, gardens. Touching, feeling, listening brings images to life. A touch on an eye can bring to light all that can be seen. This is a little lighter one for you. When I am old and no longer enthralled with the color purple, I shall search, hope, find another color, maybe of blood, tar, and I shall find out what means youth. When I am old, I shall make stories that include my histories. I shall chant without your realms, regions. So old am I have careened now without some chart. Come catch me. This isn't over. Oh, this one is fun. Because I was born in St. J 100 years ago, but way out, next to a farm. This has a title, actually. It's called It's a Barn. When a child, up the road, lived a farmer and his cook. Inside a hayloft, probably 80 feet high, we jumped from the top into hay just brought in, all warm and soft. To this day, an aroma of freshly mowed fields returns me to joy, the falling, the landing, the joy. And freshly spread cowstuff aroma carries with it my youthful joy. The barn, the barn. Let's see. Want some more? Oh, okay. Okay. This is called Where. Pain has a name, I found out. Blunt, circuitous, red, cautious, tremulous, fearless. A ringing telephone, peonies moving through fog, an empty slipper, a wailing cello. It's you, it's yours. What else did I bring today? It's not sad. Oh, not sad. Oh, this is the last one. This I wrote in the workshop, and so it's fun. It's called 8+1. 9 Supreme Court members, 9, a number no one remembers. 9 fireflies all aglow, 9 pretty maids all in a row. 9 pages of recipes ripped from a book, 9 incendiary scowls from a cook. 9 skeins of yarn, 9 mice in a barn. Not tailors, not giving a darn. Want some more? Oh, more. Oh, well, I got that one. Well, this was snowy afternoon, wasn't feeling too good. You say snow down coming is silent, enveloping, courteous even. Say again what chill invades this curious body, how you hide in a closet, waiting. Say warmth again. Snow speaks, shouts, for your memory when a closet opens. Say, remember again, snow's song. Let me see. I could have brought, I guess, a sad one. Okay. This is the last one. This is the long one. Get ready. It's called Garden of Punctuation. While wandering through my punctuation garden, I spied a colon. Does it belong there? And crouching by a peony, did I fail to notice a comma, carrying on a conversation as they are wont to do, with a misplaced question mark? Perhaps not. Perhaps a semicolon, perchance. Who can tell? Well, the exclamation point seems quite ready to tell all, to E.B. White, who lurks behind that tiger lily. His response? Everything in my punctuation garden spots belong there quite legally, including that shorter and quite glorious yellow lily. Who responds by gently, delicately inclining only one petal, reluctant, I am sure, to listen to those gossiping geraniums. That hash mark, he will gossip to the ampersand, whom I am sure will create a fuss with the asterisk. They're all so competitive. And there you have it, a garden of local punctuation. Look at the periods staring, all lined up like that. They bring to mind an ellipsis of lilies. And so to comma, then back to my wandering and spying. Tomorrow. That's it.
Thank you, Sheriff, for inviting me to read some. I moved to St. J about a little over 5 years ago, and I began writing these little, originally called heptasyllabic couplets, 2 7-syllable phrases, been written. Who knows, Homer may have written the Iliad and Odyssey in this format because I recently looked up the one source, Saint Ephraim of Cyrus was writing in Aramaic in 350 AD in this format, but I've developed a 7-4-3 syllabic structure 22 years before I found out about heptasyllabic couplets. And when I published, I put 7 on a page, and they kind of ramble, so I called them rambling Ortzels. But that's what I started with. Now I've begun writing songs with them, so I have my songbook here, and I won't sing any, but I can read them. Here's one my most recent one that I finished about the green Tara, which is the goddess Kuan Yin. Also, Gangselmo Lamo in Nepal, Kuan Yin is a mountain goddess in China. In Nepal and Tibet, it's Gangselmo Lamo. And but it includes this mantra to the green Tara, which is in, I believe, in Sanskrit. So, as you know, songs are repetitive. You sing a verse and a chorus and repeat the chorus several times. So I'll just go through it as if it were a poem, which it is in heptasyllabic couplets in this form of rambling Ortzel, except here each line is 7-4-3 instead of having it as in this book, which is 3 separate lines, 7-4-3. Special feelings, feeling fine. How many hoops we gotta jump through before we can wake up? Can't you see I'm in love with you? Can you see I'm in love? In this world we search for love. In this world we give our love. Ah, oh tare, tu tare, ture ah, oh so ha ha. Oh tare, tu tare, ture ah, oh so ha. We've got a special feeling. Feeling fine today, Hare. We've got a special feeling. Feeling fine today, Hare. Your love turns the world around. We're surprised when morning comes. Special feelings, feeling fine. Giving love and finding love. In our hearts, becoming one. Special feelings between us. Special feelings, feeling fine. We'll be heading upward bound. Climbing mountains and hanging on. The cliff face in thin air. Special feelings coming on. Is anyone else around? Ah, oh tare, tu tare, ture ah, oh so ha. We've got a special feeling, feeling fine today, Hare. Ah, oh tare, tu tare, ture ah, oh so ha. Take a step back, twirl around, dancing close now in the hall. Can't you see I'm in love with you? Can you see I'm in love? In this world we search for love. In this world we give our love. Ah, oh tare, ture ah, so ham. Oh tare, tu tare, ah, oh so ham. We've got a special feeling, feeling fine today, Hare. We've got a special feeling, feeling fine today, Hare. So that special feeling, feeling fine And here's another one, right on the back side, which is on the silver starlit strand. I lived for a time in Cape Cod, actually for 3 or 4 years before I moved to St. Johnsbury. And many people, here's a lady who lived on Cape Cod for many years, I imagine. Hi. So many people know about Cape Cod, and Diane has lived on Cape Cod here. Yeah. So there's any ocean area, has an atmosphere and a quality all its own. And this is in a song that brings back my feelings about experience on Cape Cod. On the silver starlit strand, written in this format of rambling Ursula's. Strolling on life's starlit strand, you and I in starlit night, finding our love to guide us on our journey to the light. Your eyes fill the universe, finding countless worlds of life, glowing brilliant in our love on the silver starlit strand. You and I and me and you, on and on and on in my love, glowing silver in starlight, we now find you strolling here, dancing on the glowing shore. We are starlit strands, my love. We are starlit strands, my love. We're dancing in this romance, our hearts flowing with the tide, strolling on the starlit strand, walking hand in hand through life. Flowing brightly on the sea, here my love and I to be, joined as one to find our lives in the glowing miracle. You and I, and me and you, on and on my love. Glowing silver in starlight, we now find you strolling here, dancing on the glowing shore. We are starlit strands, my love. Finding you to hold on to, bringing home this truth, my love. Here you are, my love of life, we're together mystified. Awakening our true love in the starlit on this night. Born upon this starlit strand, our love is why we've come here. You and I and me and you, on and on my love. Glowing silver in starlight, we now find you strolling here. Dancing on the glowing shore, we are starlit strands, my love. We are starlit strands, my love. So that's a couple of songs written most recently, 2015 in St. Johnsbury. One more? Yes. Great, okay. A lot of my writing is from dreams. And here is a poem that I wrote. This was before I really began writing Rambling Wurzels in St. Johnsbury. This was written in 2006 about a dream I had when I was in a dream circle, and it was really began to be projecting a lot of lucid dreaming. And it's a very accurate journal of the dream itself. It's in free verse. The title is Her Dress of Midnight Blue. All the lords and ladies choose to leave the hall, having taken part in the grand Jubilee ball. Their silken fancy disappears beyond the wall. It is late at night, or early in the morning, when I meet the lady sleepwalking in the hall, dressed in midnight blue, accented with golden stars. I slap her on the wrist, involuntarily, and say, "You were never really touched after all." I wonder why she bothers to clean up after the party, when all the lords and ladies have left the hall. She turns away before I ask the question, "Are you in a state of tranced-out reverie?" I find myself standing high, perched on a waterfall, bending to see veins of red in an ochre rock ledge beneath a veil of clear flowing water. I cast my eye upon the darkened world. My feet maintain their form as I stand upon the water, as if clear plastic separates me from reality. Unknown feelings circumambulate within, as I descend once more into the hall. Her dress of midnight blue attracts me like a butterfly to the nectar of its flower's sweetness. The power of that silence is heard with all of my senses, focused upon the enigma of her smile. The lady stands before me, dressed in midnight blue. Her face intensifies a Mona Lisa smile. Waves of silver light flowing from her heart transmutes energy into starlight. Thank you. They're all to music. Oh, great. Haven't recorded them. Yeah.
I think Alice was going to close with one more poem.
Okay.
Great.
I'm putting in a plug for the bookstore. Secondhand Prose is a bookstore in town located on Main Street with stairs that go down. If you can't do stairs, there's an entrance in the back. You'll find choice books on a special book rack. While visiting there, you will find many, many books of every kind. There are over 40 categories for every whim, and storerooms there filled to the brim. You'll find classics, art, antiques, and histories, poetry, suspense, westerns, mysteries, cookbooks, health books, drama and plays, psychology, philosophy, and wartime days. There are videos, records, and puzzles galore, children's books, romances, novels, and more. There's someone there to help you to find that very book you had in mind. P.S. To browse and buy, you have to see them, all to benefit the St. Johnsbury Athenaeum.
Can't get any better advertising than that. I may take you on the road with me after this. And so I apologize. The first Poemtown poster I was holding at the beginning was 2015, which no longer applies. So now I will review very quickly the events for the rest of the month. 2 more Poemtown Noontime Poetry Readings the next 2 Wednesdays. The Poetry Conversation, as Anne mentioned, Listen at Cafe Gatto Press, which is Thursday, April 14th at 7. That's tomorrow. Thursday, April 21st, Poetry Slam at the Kingdom Tap Room. A Junior Jam, Friday, April 22nd at 5:30 p.m. These are original and favorite poems read by elementary and middle school students at the St. Johnsbury Athenaeum. I think that would be great to attend. Wednesday, April 27th at 7 p.m. The program, again, Los Lorcas with Peter Money, Partridge Boswell, and Whit Van Meter, poetry and music. And finally, a reception on Friday, April 29th, 5 to 7, for the Poemtown Poets at Catamount Arts Gallery. And again, I thank you all for coming and would invite you to have some noontime refreshments. Thank you very much.